Good.
Got to be pretty happy after last week with the performances of some of your guys, particularly Grant and Ray Sean out there.
Yeah, I mean, for the group, just super excited. Happy for them to do it collectively as a group, to have such an impact positively on the team. You know, just as a coach, I told the guys, you may play a long time before you see that type of, performance as a group in a win. So just happy for those guys. They had the right approach all week. They attacked it with the positive mentality. They knew that we had to violently execute the game plan that Jim put forward, which I thought was a great game plan. And they came out with the win, but also came out with some production.
Grant and Rayshawn did get a lot of attention after that, but how about Ronnie, too?
Yeah.
Ronnie did his part.
Ronnie has just been playing at a really high level for us all year. I think he's already at 40-something tackles. Hasn't had an opportunity to get his hands, on a pick yet. Got that chance. He's done a great job in the open field of getting the ball down on the ground, which are tough. And you guys have heard me talk how hard that is for a free safety and attack defense. So, for him to affect the game in that manner in terms of everyone getting to see the pick, but he has affected this game positively for our defense throughout the entire year. So playing lights out, very, very happy for him. He's worked really, really hard. This is a guy that does not miss any offseason workouts. He's here from start to finish and is completely locked in terms of what we're trying to do with this team.
So when you see his, and maybe you don't necessarily look at these, but when you see his PFF grade, which is, I believe, third amongst safeties, qualifying safeties that have played 20% of the snaps or more. Does that surprise you at all?
No. I mean, he is playing at a high level. I didn't know he was third, amongst qualified safeties. But I'm not surprised. The young man has just done a great job of everything from the moment he's walked into this building as an undrafted free agent to this point in his career. So we got to keep that going. I can't let him get satisfied, which he won't. He does a great job of that. But we got to keep that going. We got to keep him in the right mindset and keep moving him forward because he can affect this team positively and help us win games.
There's that video of him saying, "Give it to me," right before that pick.
Yeah.
And he said it's not like he does that a lot or ever. He just happened to do that play. Like, could you see that interception coming before it happened?
I could. Just because of the technique and what we do in that space and that situation, the way Jim designs that and the way we coach it and the way the technique is executed, which he did at a high level, it was one of those situations where I was like and he did a great job kind of like hanging, knowing where he had to get to and the point on the field and where the humans were in terms of alignment and just did a great job. So it's one of those ones as a coach, and Casey, it's funny, Casey was on the sideline. He was played free safety in this league a long time. Right before it happened, I hear Casey out the corner of my ear, like this. He's gonna pick this off, because we just all knew the situation, the thing that was coming, the technique, and if done right, it was gonna be that. And Casey literally before it happened, he said it, and it was one of those moments where you kind of see it before it happens.
You obviously know Ray Sean well, and I know he got to address the team on Saturday night.
Yeah.
How important is it to have a veteran like that in that room?
It was like the biggest reason why I wanted to stand on the table for him. I just knew what he could do beyond the field. I know, look, dude's been an amazing player in this league for a long time, but we had to have a vet presence in that room to make it completely work as a group. So to have him here, I knew that would come out. I've seen that in the past, but I also knew the play would come out. We saw that in the game. Not to mention he leads the NFL in tackles on special teams. So the guy is playing at a high level. He's finding his way to impact the group and the team in his own way, in situational downs on special teams. So for me, it's funny he gets up there and he does the speech, and I just had flashbacks of watching him in Miami in the same space. But for me, it was even better because I got to see a grown man, really develop into who he is on and off the field, but still be who he is and affect this team.
Look at Drake May. Obviously, he's got 12 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. But what are you seeing there in terms of opportunities for your guys?
I'll say this. Ashton Grant, the quarterback coach who was here before, has done a really good job with him as a position coach. I see, all the things I'd heard Ashton talk about. I bring Ashton into my meeting room and have him talk to the safeties about things that quarterbacks, are looking at. So he's being very well coached right now. He's not giving you a ton of opportunities, and you see it, in his play. He's a very dynamic runner. He's fast. I think he's second fastest in rate of speed or play speed in the NFL behind Jaden Daniels. He knows when to do it. So again, Ashton's done a great job with that young man, and it's not gonna, your opportunities aren't gonna be a ton of them. We got to take advantage if he does give us a chance. But you can see the development of that player, and just really done a great job in that space in terms of Coach Grant.
You face running. I mean, you see Lamar twice a year. I mean, but Drake's ability to stretch the field with the vertical passing game, but also be able to run. How much is that extra stress does that put on, especially your position group? With a guy like that.
It's the day and age of ball now, and it's seeped in from college now to the NFL at a high rate. So it's just kind of standard operating procedure nowadays. The times where you don't have a guy like that is you got to remind the guys that he's not a big mover. This guy is, obviously. So it's just more about understanding that the play can extend, that you do a great job in your third level zones of not, getting out of your areas of space. And in man, just doing a good job of plastering and not just covering the first route, but the second route when you have a dynamic athlete like Drake is. So but I'll be honest with you, those are kind of core principles nowadays in modern day football. So it's not anything that really necessarily you got to do more or extra. It's just got to reemphasize.
Does he remind you of anybody?
That's a great question. He's special in terms of the ability to have the size and the ability to move. I think that's what makes him so different right now in the league. I think, 10 years from now, people are going to say, oh, that guy reminds me of Drake May because he can run and he's big and he's got a really good arm. That's what you're looking for right nowadays. So great question. I'll probably walk out of here and think about that one a little bit more. Those are literally the two you just said right now. Were the two? It's like a combination of Ben Roethlisberger and Josh Allen. It's like this and now you get this super freak, and it's really cool to see. That's funny. You both said the two in the back of my head, but I didn't want to go that route, and I didn't want to go full that route either. But it's a great morph. Those are two really good ones. Those are literally the two that popped up in my head.
So many teams that get the ball out of their hands so quick, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like May, at least to this point, isn't afraid to take shots and holds the ball a while. So, do you expect him to change, or do you expect them to throw deep and be a little different than the other teams you face?
I think at the end of the day, they're going to be them. I mean, this is a Mike Vrabel coach team. I mean, if you just know Vrabes, you know what you're going to get. And I think they'll be themselves. We'll be ourselves. We all understand. When you coach attack defense, you're going to get the ball. The balls should come out fast. I mean, if you're doing it right, if you're playing attack the right way, and then you're going to get the shots at times. So for me, I think they're going to be themselves. We got to be ourselves better, and I think that's the key that for the winning, for us to play good winning defense. And Jim's talked about that. We got to be ourselves better.
What was it for you to have Frael in the building this last year?
That man is unbelievable in terms of vibes. If you have they talk about aura and vibes, that guy is it. It didn't matter whether we win or lost. It didn't matter the situation. Obviously, it was a tough year. That man came in with the same positive attitude every single day. He was always approachable. He'd always talk with you in terms of just having a conversation, but also coaching moments. So for me, I absolutely enjoyed my time being around that type of person. The person he is, he's just a great dude. Super happy for him. I'm blessed that I had a chance to be around him for the short time we did. But just an awesome dude, man. You just want to hang out with, outside the building, and you enjoyed hanging out with in the building.
Go back to Grant for a second. James said yesterday that when Grant signed his extension, one of the things he told him, he was like, I want our defense to play with your personality. So just over Grant's time, just how have you seen his personality grow and come out and just kind of develop into what it is?
Yeah, it's over time, it's been fun to see the maturation of that part of his game. And it was a big emphasis, like I told you guys at the beginning of the year, because the truth is, if our defense plays, like Jim said, with his personality, we can continue to be dominant in this league. But it's got to be, with him leading the way in that space. So I've seen him really grow into that, space and be ready to grab the mic and get in front of the group and say words that need to be heard. But at the time, we all know Grant's going to go out there and do it with his body and his physical traits. But now he's really taken that next step of being there when we need him. There was a play in the game. I was actually after the special teams deal where we had to take the field again. And Jim grabbed Grant, and I was standing right there, and we had talked about it before. Like, if we get in one of these situations, you need to get in front of the group and grab him. And Jim grabbed him. He said, hey, get that group together and make sure we're right. And Grant saw Grant run out there and do what he needed to do, say what he needed to say, and we got the job done. So I'm happy for him. He's playing it at all-pro level right now. I'm glad that the world is seeing it finally. I get to see it every day. But to see him play at the level he's playing at right now, the next step is every single day Grant Delpit, every day, over and over again. And that's the next step.